Good news from Activision? EA looking to be acquired? And we talk Jedi Survivor. Extra, hear all about it!
All right.
Yeah, I'm good. I'm good.
Hey guys, welcome to the podcast with the hosts that shine so bright it would register at 127,000 lumens. I'm the Dean of Games, the Dean Slater if you are on Twitter or Twitch, and joining me today is twitch.tv/LMJ the Hitman, Landen.
Let's get ready to talk about some video games! That's patent. I can't really use that. I'm sorry.
Oh,
Sorry,
you're
Bruce
good.
Buffer. Sorry, Bruce Buffer.
Oh, this is Extra, your weekly gaming news podcast covering the news leading up to Sunday, May 29th, 2022. And if you like us, you can go to patreon.com/thebriefingroom. But before we move on, I would like to say we would be remiss if we didn't mention the senseless or preventable shooting in Texas, and sending our thoughts and prayers to the families of the victims. In case any of you don't know, I do have two daughters that are around the same age as the kids that were involved in this, and I can't imagine the pain that they're going through. There's not really a good way to transition back to the show, but I just wanted to get that out there that we're sending our thoughts that way.
For sure. Good.
Let's get to some news. All right, so positives coming from Activision.
More positive.
So, the first part of this is that Raven Software QA testers, Raven being the studio owned by Activision.
Primarily the people that work on Warzone.
Yeah. Their QA testers have successfully formed a union. The vote was 19-4-3 against. And this is the studio that Activision has tried their hardest to fight forming a union, including most recently them saying that first bargaining agreements can be very stressful and long process, in order to discourage a yes vote. And other actions such as redistributing the QA testers into other departments in an effort to dilute the proposed union with, other 350 other employees. This will be the first union at a major developer. But as Activision has stated, work still needs to go into contract talks. The second part of this is that 12 current and former employees have formed an anti-discrimination committee and submitted a list of demands to CEO Bobby the Boob, Diversity Officer Kristen Hines, and Chief HR Officer Julie Hodges. Highlights of the four-page documents were workers being able to meet with Equal Opportunity Coordinator, ending undocumented chats with HR, restricting retaliation against employees who file disputes, which I think should automatically be a, set up for any company, setting up independent investigations on claims of discrimination, and an end to mandatory arbitration, which the mandatory arbitration prevents them from suing the company. And then private lactation rooms. Despite Activision's claims of improvement, many workers so far have been dissatisfied with the progress. I'll throw it to you, Landon.
Well, a union's always good, but I'm sorry, my my washing machine's going haywire in the background right now. I don't know if anybody can hear that, but it's going ham. So that is slightly distracting me, just slightly. But union seems to be what the let me see if I can get into this. Hold on. Union seems to be what the video game industry is like really looking to lean towards. And at least that's what the community is asking for. So them unionizing is great. It's a good step forward. I don't know if you have it in this article. Does it talk about Phil Spencer acknowledging?
I did not. That came out after I made the document.
Okay. Well, Phil Spencer said he would acknowledge the Raven Software union whenever the acquisition fully goes through. So that's good, and it shows that Phil Spencer is taking his time to learn about unions and potentially grow union throughout Activision. Business. Hopefully.
Yeah. What I appreciate about Phil's statement about that was, he said, he previously said, I don't know much about unions, but in this he was like, yeah, we've been studying unions and we're fully ready to acknowledge, Ravensoft's union. And it's like, you don't see many business people actually actively researching unions. They just automatically are like, union bad.
Right.
Yeah, I like that they were finally able to form this union because, like I said, Activision certainly was trying their hardest to prevent this.
Yeah, they were. I mean, job stability in the video game field is sketchy, and unions help with that. So, like, when you work for a company like Activision, or especially, let's just say Activision, because Activision is known for making a studio just run a video game into the ground until it doesn't sell anymore, and then the studio's gone. They've just done that time and time again. So, unions would help with stuff like that.
Yeah, and not only that, like QA testers especially are like the most disposable position in the industry. So it's nice that they have some sort of security. I also enjoy that there are other employees that, even if they're not trying to form a union, sorry, I'm a little tired.
Dude.
They were able to like form a committee and like send demands to the higher ups at Activision. I don't know why. I mentioned this before. I don't know why there was no restrictions on retaliation against employees who file disputes. That just seems like a no-brainer period for a company, because that just, I guess it's because they have the mandatory arbitration and no one can sue them. But that just seems like you're asking for trouble, being able to actively retaliate against employees.
Yeah.
Ending undocumented chats with HR, like, again, I feel like that should be an automatic thing. Like, our particular HR person, I've had some talks with her, and it's just like, you know what, I'm done.
Yeah, you're not going in. We're not going anywhere with this conversation.
Private lactation rooms after everything that's happened, yeah, obviously that needs to happen. Although I feel like I read a story where they did have lactation rooms, but people would just walk into them.
That's awful. That sounds awful.
But yeah, it's just being able to confirm, hey, no one except, people lactating are allowed in. That'd be a nice thing. Yeah, it's nice to hear that there's some positives coming out of Activision, but it's still one of those things where it's like, this should have been this should never have been a thing anyway. Period. Just I can't stress that enough that this whole situation is just flat out fucked.
Yeah. Hello.
Children that are freaking out about an ant being on their computer.
Oh my gosh, no. You make sure you take care of that ant. Dangerous stuff, man. That's dangerous stuff.
Alright. Sounds like it's been taken care of. So I'll move on. So EA to be acquired? This is after Activision, Bungie, Zynga, and many of Square Enix's Western studios have already been acquired or purchased. EA decided to get in on the cash flow and start pursuing a sale. And they have had talks with Disney, Apple, Amazon, and Comcast, NBC Universal. The talks with Comcast, NBC Universal made it the farthest, but ended up breaking up. Comcast CEO Brian Roberts said the terms of the proposal would have seen the Roberts family. Weird that he's calling his family in third person, but whatever. Take majority control of the combined entity. The company would have been run by EA CEO Andrew Wilson. Talks fell through because price and structure disagreements. What would you think about EA going to another company, especially any of those companies?
I don't know about any of those companies. Any of those companies kind of scare me a little bit. Like, I don't want to see, like, I don't know how I see about, NBC owning, Jedi Fallen Order or Respawn, who makes Apex. Like, that sounds weird. That sounds extremely weird. And, a lot of those companies have like a certain style or image to them, and would probably want to change a lot of what and how EA does their systems now, which could be, probably for the better, maybe, but for some things, because EA is not necessarily, like, let's not kid ourselves, like, EA fucking sucks. For the most part, they're not so good. They got a couple of, coins that shine pretty bright at the bottom of the pool, but, for the most part, they ain't so good. But I don't know. I don't really want to see them with any of those. I was kind of hoping, like, I could see them getting taken by, what's that one that just picked up? Oh, they're buying all these things but not making anything. The one that just bought Square Enix games. They're buying everything, so why not buy EA? Make it one giant umbrella.
Yeah,
I cannot think of that company. What was it?
I know Disney doesn't
THQ people, but like
the
new THQ people.
Disney doesn't make sense for purchasing because that's the whole reason. That's the whole reason they are licensing out their stuff to other developers.
Yeah, because they don't want to have to mess with it.
Yeah. But yeah, they trying to look for this at the same time. Apple kind of makes sense. They've been starting to get into video games a little bit, and they have their whole Apple Arcade thing going on. Embracer Group.
Embracer Group. Thank you so much.
Yeah, no problem.
Man, that was killing me.
So Apple would make a little bit of sense. Amazon has Luna. That would make a little bit of sense. Like I said, Disney doesn't make any sense. Comcast is a weird one. Like
I got one.
All right.
Epic Games.
Yeah. they've.
I could see that.
I
They got
just
money. They got the money. Everyone is using their engine to make these next gen games. They're just caking in that money. Not even that. They got other live service games that are taking off. Fall Guys now, and Rocket League and Fortnite. They're making money. They are making money. So they have some other smaller studios, and they got their own service now through like their Steam-like service. I can't their Epic Games client. So I think they could pull off the EA buy.
So I literally this morning before bed did download the Epic Games launcher in order to claim the free BioShock collection.
It's a good free game.
Yeah, games. So I'll be playing those at some point.
Infinite, just a little side note. Infinite's still the GOAT. 1 is amazing and a classic, obviously, and 2 is not as bad as everybody says. It is still fun to be a big daddy in that game. So, BioShock as a franchise is still pretty good. Excited to see the future.
I'd like to think that I'm a big daddy.
Moving on.
But yeah, so Comcast is a weird one because I don't feel like they are necessarily in the video game space, and I didn't realize that they had any interest in being in the video game space. I guess it makes sense. They own a shit ton of other things, so. But, yeah. EA, with EA being acquired, this is a weird one because EA, most of their money is coming from stuff that they license out. Although, to be fair, they're not licensing the FIFA name anymore, and that makes the buku bucks. But yeah, you got the NFL, you got the Madden NFL stuff. You got the
worth a lot. I think it's worth quite a bit of money. Like, I mean, they were spending $350 million alone yearly just for that FIFA license, and then it went to $1 billion. And they're like, yeah, that's a little too much. I don't blame them. They don't need that FIFA name to sell those soccer games. I guarantee you, they don't. But the thing is, like it says here, talks fell through because of price and structure disagreements. It has to be because, the structure disagreements because, they have a certain way they want to make their games, yearly, annually, with certain microtransactions. And I guarantee you, these Comcast and NBC and all these people were like, we don't want that. We don't want that negative vibe. We would do it differently. And I'm sure that's where their disagreements are. Also, I'm sure the disagreements is, like, EA probably thinks they're worth quite a bit. And I think you got Need for Speed and all these yearly titles that sell every year. Whether Need for Speed is a very good title anymore, I'm just saying it sells every year. But it got to be worth like upward of like 20 to 40 bill, I would say.
Yeah.
Maybe more.
They're definitely worth a lot.
Bethesda sold for what, 60?
Yeah, 60, basically 69, I believe.
Oh, God.
Nice.
And that's, man, really got me with that one. Bethesda has quite a few studios, but I think it's like 12 total, but the IP is also very recognizable with Bethesda as well, but I would say that, your NFL and FIFA and stuff could potentially outshine Bethesda. So they're looking at probably a hefty size price tag. I guarantee you Sony is not looking at it, at acquiring this. Anybody who thinks that Sony, Sony could swoop in and just own the market for, all the sports games, that ain't going to happen. That's not going to happen. That's too much money. That's too much money for Sony. And Xbox probably could do it, but they ain't going to do it while all the eyes are looking at them on the monopoly for potentially owning Activision Blizzard.
Yeah.
They're probably not going to dip their toes in even more sketchiness of owning even more.
Yeah.
So, Sony and Sony and Microsoft is probably not on the board. That would not happen.
Yeah. So we will definitely see about what happens there. But speaking of EA and their licenses, let's talk about Star Wars Jedi Survivor. The director of the game, Stig Asmussen, I apologize if I pronounced your name wrong, was asked if the sequel would be more mysterious and menacing. Quote, "Yeah, you nailed it. Right there, that's the purpose of and the tone of it. To leave the player with questions, but they're very intrigued. The game is all about survival, that's the name. They're in dark times, and Cal and crew are doing whatever it takes to stay alive. And that means they're making connections that would be with people that in other times would be unsavory. Some of that is portrayed in the trailer." I did paraphrase a little bit because he definitely fluffed up a lot of that quote, so I kind of cut it down a little bit, but that was the quote.
I am extremely excited for this game. Jedi Fallen Order was phenomenal. I got that pesky platinum to that game. That was get every single trophy. And it was really rough because the map in that game was not good.
Oh, map is awful.
Was not good.
That kept me from getting everything in that game.
Oh, it was a struggle for sure. But nonetheless, everything that was before post game was phenomenal. I would say some minor glitches and some updates were required, but other than that, I would say that experience was like an 8.5 or a 9 out of 10 for me. I'm a huge Star Wars guy, and give me a character I can be a Jedi again, and pretty well told story and characters and side characters and traveling from planet, and with that Dark Souls combat, yeah, I was all about it. So good.
Yeah.
And I'm all about this too. Yeah, the sequel.
Yeah.
Going to the dark side, as most sequels do. The first game is a new character. The sequel is always, look at him go to the possible dark side. Prince of Persia, I'm looking at you. And then the third game is like, oh, he's back to being a good guy. And he finishes the story.
Yeah.
I can't wait to see where the story goes in this one. Will he appear in Obi-Wan? We will see. I really hope so.
Yeah. So I have in the past been a very, very big Star Wars person. And there was a point where I was watching the final season of the Clone Wars. I was watching Mandalorian, and I was 80% of the way through Star Wars Bloodline, the book. And I guess if I'm reading it, of course it would be a book. But something, I don't know, I don't know if it's the proper word is clicked or snapped or whatever, but I just haven't been interested in going back to any of the Star Wars stuff on Disney Plus, or finishing that book, or starting the other books that I have, because I have the Aftermath books as well.
Nice.
But that being said, I don't know why I just stopped being so interested in Star Wars, but I will say this Star Wars game I definitely am super interested in. I enjoyed the game, and I fully intended to get all of the achievements in that game. And I probably will go back at some point and get those achievements. But yeah, the map, it was just so hard.
Yeah, it was rough. That's for sure. So rough. Yeah. I'm guarantee you that they will polish their map in the sequel to this game by a lance. Like, it's going to be night and day comparison. Like, they know, I know that they'll like, look how well and intricate this new map is and how great it works. They'll go over the top to make sure the map is good, I bet.
Yeah.
That's the Respawn way.
So I am looking, despite my sudden disinterest with Star Wars that has never quite come back, I am very interested in this game. And I want to know what happens with Cal. I want to know, do you think that old man in the Bacta tank that was at the end of the trailer, do you think that's the Jedi that was leading them on the quest in the first game?
No.
No.
I have
Yeah.
my own theory, and I think it's way, way, way out there.
All right, let's hear it.
Oh, I believe that it is the dude from The Force Unleashed.
Oh, the main character from that game. I'm drawing a blank on his name.
I got it. I'll tell you in here in a second. Oh, I was on the tip of my tongue already. The Star Killer. Yep.
Star Killer. That's
What
it.
are the chances it's Star Killer? You know how awesome that would be. Awesome that would be. Oh, I know that would kind of make those old games kind of canon, and they don't want that, but it would be pretty cool.
Yeah. Star Killer was also, I believe, at one time Luke's last name, and then they changed it.
Oh. Also, that would get you make that Star Killer, and somehow he just helps you in the game or something, then goes off on his own, and you get a Star Wars: The Force Unleashed 3.
Yeah.
Yeah, buddy. They did just remake the first one for Switch. I don't know. I'm connecting the dots. I'm connecting the dots over here.
Yeah. That would be something.
In all reality, you're probably right. It might just be the Jedi from the beginning of the first game.
I'm trying to think of. Again, I haven't been in the Star Wars universe in a hot minute, so I'm just trying to think of who all it could be, because you gotta imagine they were going out and looking for Jedi at the end of the game, right? So you gotta expect if he's at that back to tank, it's because that's a Jedi of some sort.
Yeah, I believe so. And, who else is in, tubes and containers like that? Star Killer. He's a clone.
Yeah. One thing I would love, and I doubt it, because, obviously Cal's a great character and, plays great and everything. I would love to be able to have at least, every now and then, a segment where you play as the, drawing a blank on what they're called, the witches.
And the witches in Star Wars?
Yeah, she in Jedi Fallen Order, she was the last of her kind, and she ends up joining the crew.
God.
Yeah.
I know what you're talking about.
Yeah. I would love to, because after she joins the crew, she literally does jack shit. I would love to see her do stuff in the next game and have segments at least where you could kind of play as her. Because I've been watching
or just segments.
Yeah, I've been watching Arkham Knight, and the smoothness at which you could transition when there's you have two hero characters, the smoothness at which you can switch between them, when it's Batman and Robin, or Batman and Catgirl, or there's some DLC where it's Batgirl and Robin,
yeah,
just seamlessly switching between them in a fight. I think Jedi, the Jedi games could support some sort of system similar to that.
Yeah, that would be pretty cool.
And I just want to see her do stuff because, the captain, he's the captain. He's really only piloted the ship, and that's fine. And then, what is her name?
You know about the girl with the lightsaber, Marin?
Yeah, Marin. That was the one I was referencing. But she, the other two characters of the crew, they have their roles. But then Marin joins and she's just yeah, I'm here too. It was she was so badass, and then she joins the crew and she's I'm just gonna chill in this lobby right here.
Yeah, don't let me get in your way.
Yeah. It's neutered. So I would like to see something with her, doing a little bit more than she did at the end of that game. That's all I have to say about that. That's just a pipe dream I have, which probably won't come to fruition, but
A lot of great video games coming down the pipeline, though. A lot of great video games.
yeah, I'm excited for the showcases coming up. Which, by the way, I should point out, the next week is going to be our predictions for the showcase. Or for the showcases.
I love predictions.
So, we're going to discuss which showcases we're going to do a prediction for that we know of so far, because there's not a whole lot. So, yeah. If you liked, or even if you didn't like this podcast, make sure to do all of the things, like hitting the like button, hitting the subscribe button, and hitting that bell on youtube.com/the XofPlays, or giving it a high rating on whatever podcast service you use, so you can find like-minded people. I brought it up before, but on patreon.com/thebriefingroom, you can financially support the show and get cool rewards as well. That's all from us. Take care.